Hello, 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 and welcome to this, I wouldn't say new, but new to me, and maybe even new to you guys, video game. Um, this one is called Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, and I've been waiting to get my hands on this for a very long time. I mean very long, I found out about it by like a year ago, but quite frankly, you guys know me, and you guys know my content. I love games like this. Now, the way you can think of this is almost a more simplified version of From the Depths, or maybe a more realistic version of From the Depths, crossed with something like Rule the Waves 3 and a simplified version of Aurora 4X, but for, actual boats. Um, I don't think I've actually played something exactly like this. Building boats is both complicated and simple in this game. It's kind of weird, but I am going to show off by going ahead, and I already started a campaign and designed some boats. Don't worry, I'll show you these boats. Because I haven't even moved one day into the campaign, but it took me about 3 days to prep this, so I hope you, I hope you really appreciate it. It's gonna take a minute to load here. I think I turned down the music all the way because this game does have copyrighted music, so I made sure to turn it down. Destructor was a 19th century Spanish vessel which was considered the first military ship classified as a destroyer. Ah, capable of chasing and destroying smaller torpedo armed ships. Something I will tell you, the AI is not very good at designing torpedo boats, at least in my experience, because torpedo boats are pretty easy to design and they're really, really cost effective. I played multiple battles with them and it's just like, sure, you need 5 torpedo boats, but like 5 torpedo boats to take out one, let me go ahead, like a light cruiser or a heavy cruiser. But the thing is that heavy cruiser, as you can see right here, these are the ones that I pretty much use. Something very similar to them. Pretty much use these things. They're not even 250 tons. So 5 of these, we'll even say 6 of these, is not even 1,500 tons. And yet they take out things that are technically double the cost. And typically they punch way more for their weight. Because you can have 5 of these little torpedo boats take out two to three cruisers. It's pretty amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. You're gonna honestly lose at least one, if not 3 torpedo boats, but they're just so cost efficient. And their maintenance is just amazing. But this is early game, like not even one day into the game. So I don't know if that's going to be true throughout the entire time. And we also do have to worry about something called a destroyer. And it's called a destroyer because view. It's called a destroyer because the whole purpose of the ship is to destroy torpedo boats. Please load. It will load. It just takes a minute. Alright, and we're back. So this lovely, lovely, lovely lady right here. Shoot. I forgot what I called it. Let me see, can I bring up something that... Overview. There you go. Nice little overview. So I have 2 different designs of torpedo boats because I realized there's 2 different things I want to do with the torpedo boat. And what's probably going to happen is that one of these designs will remain an actual torpedo boat, and the other one will evolve more into a destroyer, probably. So, we only have one torpedo. There's room for like 3. You can put something in between here. You can, you know, you can do a lot. But I decided to go with 1 for this type of ship, and I wanted it to be super fast. Super fast, not a lot of range. And it's literally its whole thing is super fast. And then you have this thing. These names mean something, so let me pull up what the curry means. A cutie. Oh, chestnut. That actually, it sounds really random, but it actually means something else as well. The other one is called kata, and the kata, so what you'll notice if you were paying attention with the other boat, is that these all have 3 guns on them, and the AI tends to go with really heavy guns. I think, like, the last battle I saw, they put flippin' 102mm guns on this thing. 102mm howitzers. And they put 4 of them on this boat, with only a single torpedo launcher. That's just ridiculous, honestly. Ridiculous. But if you're paying attention, you realize that these guns are a little bit bigger. The other ones were only 4 centimeters. And this one has 2 45cm, or 4.5 centimeters. This is 4.5. Almost 4.6. Anyways, this variant has 2 torpedoes on it, because I want it to be able to actually launch a bit more torpedoes. It's slower, but it has more range. So the Kuri is more of a port defender, and this is more of a raid. Now, it's not the thing that's going to be conducting raids, but this is more of like an offensive type ship. And that's why this ship might be taken over by the destroyer role. Spacious, because it really doesn't matter on this tiny boat. What else? Armor. I don't think there's any armor on this. Yeah, that was really pretty much it. Components. I like to do. I have reduced shells for these things, just to help them. Honestly, for this variant, I should have put normal shells, but it is what it is. Or at least one or the other. Probably just put more shells on it. But we definitely have ammo torps. Yeah, that's right. This one also has increased torpedo. Um, ammo. And yeah, it's really just a slower, but more. It's more costly. I don't know about efficient, but it is. At least in my testing runs, it's actually not as efficient in battle as the Curie, but they do take a bit more of a beating. But they're not as effective at, getting on target. You have the Tone. Or Tony. This bad boy doesn't have a lot of guns on it, because it's really not supposed to. This is what you call a torpedo cruiser. And I say not a lot of guns. It has 6 guns on it. That's not a small amount of guns, especially if 2 of those are 130 millimeter guns. That being said, though, having almost 13 centimeter guns, there's only 2 of them, and its main ordeal is that it's supposed to be a torpedo boat, and that it launches a bunch of torpedoes. This is going to actually be, let me pull up the characteristics too. This is actually going to be our more blockade runner. I don't know if blockade runner is really convoy raider. There we go. This is going to be a convoy raider. It's going to be taking out the enemy convoys. It's fairly light, fairly cheap. Doesn't cost too much in maintenance. Very fast. Well, not very fast, but 20 kiloknots. I noticed that the AI likes to make their boats really fast too. I don't like making boats stupid fast if that's not their purpose. If it's a heavy ship, it's allowed to be slow in my eyes. Because, slow and effective is better than trying to make something fast and inefficient. But the main thing is that this thing has ridiculous amounts of range. No other ship even comes close to it, from what I remember. And something really annoying, the range does not show up on this stat card. I really want to see the range on this stat card. But yeah. It just has a bunch of torpedoes. I forget where the torpedoes are, but guns on it, nothing too special other than the 80 millimeter guns. Pretty efficient, pretty effective size. But the Jinsu, the Kuri and the Kata were the only 2 that actually meant anything. And I forgot to bring up the Kata. My bad. Oh, I think it was Mosquito. Oh no, Cutter. Cutter. No, because it's a ship. Cutter and I think Cutter and Clipper. Jinsu. This is an interesting ship. From what I know, it's kind of a masted ship. So it's like a converted sail ship, if you will. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah. Very slow. 5,200 range though. So it has a good range. And this is the only ship that seems to have good engine efficiency, not too much weight, pitch or roll. Like everything on it actually looks and feels good. But this ship is pretty much just a heavy light ship, if you will. I'll bring up the Hikari. The Hikari here, this is a much, much lighter ship. Much lighter ship. And you notice it actually looks a lot more recognizable as like a cruiser or a boat that you would actually see in World War II. This also actually has 8 guns, which is a fair number of guns. It's not the most guns I could have put on it, but I feel like putting a bunch of guns on something just isn't very efficient. And in my findings, that's not entirely true. Okay, this is the one that can kind of go. This will be more of the convoy protector because it does have the 7,000 range, 7,000 kilometers of range. Whereas the Jinsu is slower, it's heavier. This will be actually going with the battle fleet for contending with enemy ships. And this thing is more for, torpedo boats, torpedo cruisers, enemy light cruisers, nothing super crazy. I should have put torpedoes on all of these, because I didn't realize torpedoes were so light. Then I'll bring up Zashu. Zashu just means hybrid. Specific kind of hybrid, if I remember correctly, because the main word they use for hybrid, or the Japanese use for hybrid, is hybrido, like hybrido. It's like American, Japanese American type word. It's a borrowed word from English, but they do have the Japanese term crossbreed, and I think crossbreed is a perfect name for this, and that's what Zashu is. Zashu means more of crossbreed than hybrid. The main problem with Zashu, though, is that it only has 5,000 range. It's going to be the heaviest ship that we actually will attempt to pretty much use, and it does currently. I have this produced with a sister ship, which I will show you later. This is where the main guns kind of come into importance here. So let me... Okay, I can use this. Good, 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 good. Not allowed to highlight it. That's unfortunate. We do have... No, I can't. Okay. That's unfortunate. Ship details. Okay, I can pop it up through here. There you go. 8 kilometers of range with maximum penetration of, it looks to be 172 millimeters. And having fairly good accuracy. We also do have some 112 millimeters. I don't know why. I just love 112 mils. They just seem to do amazing. And as you can see, they have pretty much the same amount of range for just not that much weight. Good range, and it seems to be a good amount of damage that you can get from the 112s. And you get an amazing rate of fire. 4 rounds a minute. 4 rounds, well, 60 seconds divided by 2 is 30. Divide 30 by 2, that's 15 seconds. It's 1 round every 58. Actually has it right there. 14.5 seconds, which is way better. 14.5 seconds, that's pretty good. I think it's 32 centimeters long or 32 inches long. One of those two measurements. We got a 76 gun. 76 guns, I actually like to usually bump up to 80 millimeters. The only problem with doing the 81 millimeters is that it takes up a lot of weight, especially when you have like 6 of them like this. You try to bump them up. And I do usually bump down the 51 millimeters because it's what they usually come in as. I usually do bump down the 50 millimeters to only 40 and throw them on there. And these are basically secondaries, and their main job is to take out like little torpedo boats and anything that comes into range. It doesn't have insane amounts of armor. 115. It does have a citadel. I think the Hikari does not have a citadel. Because its main thing is that it's supposed to be fast with a ton of range. And the Jinsu is the more contender of everything. Turret armor? I don't know if turret armor is super important. I only say that because the guns, by the look of it, the ones that I use, they say they can't really penetrate that much. So having 220 just seems like overkill. But in the battles that I've played, the few battles that I've played, I threw down the armor to like 180. Because this isn't supposed to be able to punch above 180. But I found myself getting my guns knocked out by the enemy, and they were using things that was less than 150. I think it was 125 or something like that. 127 millimeter, and it knocked out my flippin' something that had like 180 millimeters, 150 millimeters of protection on it, and it's like, huh. So maybe over armoring is kind of required. I'm not 100% sure, but it also does matter on the quality of your armor. Because if you don't have good armor quality, let's see if I can, well, I'll pull it both up. Like this right here does not have good armor quality. Minus 22%. Which means your armor is actually, even though it says 115, it might effectively only be 80. Maybe. I don't know exactly if that's how it works. Actually, more like 90. More like 90. But yeah. Iron plate, you can switch it over to one other one, and I'll show you what that one is. The heavy cruiser. Suikabe. Suikabe is supposed to be strong wall, and for those that speak Japanese, it's supposed to be Suyoi, like Suyoi Kabe. Suyoi. I think I'm saying that right. Tsuyooi. Suyoi. And then Kabe is, or wall is Kabe. So Suyoi, strong, Kabe, wall. But Suyoi Kabe, it seems like a really long word, and I've never seen a name go like that. From when I look at Japanese names, they do tend to shorten words, and when you're trying to combine names into larger meanings. Suikabe. Suikabe looks to be something that might be close to it. And I can actually just, you know, yeah, that looks to be close enough. exit, something that I did do is I already started a bit of the actual building, but I do have to select which ports, and I'll do that in a minute. This is the world, and this is not the only game there's another one very similar to this that I wanted to play for you guys, with you guys, but you can probably guess the name of it. It's Rule the Waves 3, and I loaded up Rule the Waves 3, and not only was it more simple than I realized that it was, the UI was not as easy to use, and it was not as customizable, like the ships were not as customizable as it first looked to be. And probably the thing that bugged me most I think this almost uses the same map for Rule the Waves 3. It's almost the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. There is some important different. Excuse me. Okay. Give it a minute. Alright, we're back. There's some important differences. Like down in here. These are not all the same. Something else is... The main thing that I'm trying to get to here is Japan. Japan was all one province in Rule the Waves 3. And that just irked the living nonsense out of me, okay? Like, I don't even like the way that this is divided up, but the fact that it's just more than just one province is so much better. And I think Korea was only 2 provinces, and you can probably guess how that was divided. It's not a super big deal, but compared or combined with everything else that was already distasteful, to me, distasteful, it made me load up this game and it's like, oh, let me just check out this other one first. Because I know this one will just look better to play out for you guys. Let's see. I don't like... Because I want a fleet in Nagasaki, obviously. But I also want a northern fleet. Actually, I'll put it right here. We're not going to contend with Russia quite yet. And I'll show you... Politics is not that important right yet. The only thing I did was gave the middle finger to China. That's going to be our first enemy. But isn't the Russian? But what we definitely want to do is we want all of this. We want all of this. And if we take all of this, you can instantly see a few problems if I'm just going like this. There's a lot of different nations here. You've got Great Britain, you've got France, you even got Germany. They're not a big contender here, but they're still here. And China and Russia. Did I put Netherlands? England, France, China, Germany, Russia, and the Netherlands, and Spain. It's a lot of different nations to worry about here. Technically Korea too, but they don't really play a role in any of this. I mean, you have more than just those guys, but yeah. There's a lot. So, mainly what our first 2 options could be would be Russia or China. and then probably either going further down south, because we're not going to conquer all of China, probably taking Korea and then a couple ports depending on how the war goes, but we'll see. France. Maybe France. My game plan is France will be about 4th or 5th target. My main target is China, well, Korea, then China, little bits and pieces, and then Russia. And then going straight south and focusing fully south on getting Spain pretty much kicked out of here properly, and taking on France. So yeah, 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5. No, doy. 5. So France is 4th or 5th on the list. And then maybe contend with Great Britain. Because we want some of these down here. No, we don't. Yes, we do. We want oil. Oil. Oil, oil, oil. Check out our finances. I kind of duped up because I thought we only had 19 million to spend. What is this nonsense? Excuse me. Want to just, readjust that. Want 19 million there because we get 39.2. Oh, 0.2. Interesting. Okay. It's fine. I don't care that much. A little bit more. We only have 53,000 tons. Which is actually quite a lot, but it's also not that much. Most of the boats I'm building right now, I'm building 20 boats that are only 210 tons, so that's like 4,000 tons. If I did that math relatively correctly, it's like 4,200 tons. It's going to be freed up in the next 6 months, and everything else is going to be like 9 months out. But our max shipyard size, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the maximum, like, maximum weight of the ship, maximum size of the ship, basically. 7 provinces, yeah. Something that is pretty interesting, a pretty interesting difference, is the politics could show you, oh, they do, show you how many ships they got. 46. Okay, never mind. I thought it didn't show you how many ships everybody had, but I can definitely contend with all of these guys. The main thing with these guys is that they have all their ships. I don't have any ships right now. It's a little annoying, but I decided to actually click that option. I'm not going back on it because I don't want the AI designing boats for me. I don't know why, but after fighting the AI a couple of times, and 6 torpedo boats can take out 4 cruisers, well, 1 heavy cruiser and 3 light cruisers, I'm good. I think I'll design all of my boats by myself. That way, if interesting. I don't know what the power rating is, but interesting. That way, if I lose, or if I, like, have a bunch of boats that go down, it'll be my fault, and my fault entirely. Maybe we should go after Spain first, because they have a smaller fleet. Although, China's supposed to be very behind. I don't know why they're not. But naval budget, let me see. Yeah, they do have a huge budget in this game. I wonder what they do to make this somewhat fair. Because I don't like things being super fair, like balancing in games, but oh, yeah, priorities. I don't like things being super fair, but I also don't like things being super unfair for unrealistic reasons. Like China, yes, they have a huge population, but oh, we can choose which one. Choose two of these. We want Kyushu to be. Oh wait, cancel. Which one is this? These are the slower versions that have more range. Okay. Mazuri. And we have these ones. The Kuri, which is Kyushu. Select. Sasebo. We're gonna kind of spread these around. Probably not in Tokyo. Definitely one in Mazuri. Probably South Hokkaido. Definitely put one in Sasebo. Okinawa. And probably Shikoku. Why not? Let's see, where is Shikoku again? I think it's... Yeah. Yeah. Shikoku. It's this one. This is definitely Kyushu. Complete. Set up what we want. So these are in Sasebo. 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 Mishi. We want to put the other ones. Probably down here. These ones can go to Sasebo. Ikari. Let's see what's up here. Suikabe. Suikabe can be in Kyushu. It's going to be our main port that we want to build up here. And with that, we want with 2 Jinsu accompanying her. Let me see, Asashu with the Jinsu. Ooh. Can I hold control instead? Will that work? Yes, indeed it will. Asashu with the Jinsu. And we'll throw in a Hikari. We'll select a port, probably in Maizuru, and then 2 Hikari in Shikoku. Matsuyama. Matsuyama. That's... I clicked the wrong place. Oh well. We'll be fine. Well, in being. That's interesting. Submarines aren't a thing yet, from what I understand, so we're not even going to worry about that. We're going to click start. 1 second. That's pretty loud. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, nice. It automatically built them for me. It's amazing. I didn't think it would do that. That's a million times better than what I thought we were going to have a problem with. Alright. So we're still behind compared to these guys. Are they really just allowed to run rampant? I'm trying to think. What's their limiter? Do they just have bad efficiency and bad tech? Well, it says they have average technology and not bad technology. Let's see. Ship design. Probably even build up a couple more ships here. Because we want at least half the number. Yeah, they have 12 with 3. We only have 24 here. I mean... Well, if I knew that was the case... I would have done a lot differently. Let's go ahead and build the sister ship. Interesting. So if I do... Am I allowed to... Get back here. There we go. first time playing it, it seems like, this is not a bad thing, but it seems like I have to add all the, nope. It says everybody has all the crew that they need. Interesting. Never mind. So they should all be being built. So I should have about 20 of those boats. One of these being built. I need a couple of three. Just two should be fine. Just a couple of protectors for it. Let's see. Yoko can also be Maizuru. Well, actually, all of these can be Maizuru. That wouldn't hurt to have a good fleet in Maizuru. Okay. That's two. I can't click any of these buttons. Let's see. What happens if I click next turn? Alright. Seems like we get tensions update. Interesting. Korean Kingdom. So what happened to the Korean? So let's check that again. Still only 46. Okay. 10. Probably want to throw out. Let's see, what am I going to want to do against China? I think what we're going to want is another, like, 5 Hikaris. Along with commissioning in 1 month. Okay, they're not out yet. Building 9 months. 5 here. I already have 5 tones. Do I want more? Let me see. We're really only gonna need. The whole reason why I only have 5 is because one 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I'll build another 3, so that way we can have 2. We can run in pairs. That doesn't sound bad. And we'll put them in Shikoku. Let's see. What else? Come on then. Oh, you know what? You know, that's fine. We need another turn for those. Three of these here. I don't have a lot in Naha, and I do kind of need a bit in Naha. There's my Zuru. We do kind of want, well, something in Tokyo. Overweight? Interesting. These 5. It's mothball. Right. Everything in Sasebo. Yokosuka. Wakanai. I don't even know where that is. Sasebo. Also Sasebo. Perfect. You guys. Sea control. Select. Good. Submarines don't exist. Ship design is fine for now. Who do you want to be friends with? I'm thinking maybe Germany. Germany sounds nice. They have a presence. Unfortunately, they're friendly with China, but that's really it. They have a presence, but they don't want anything over here. Another option is maybe Great Britain themselves. Making good friends with Great Britain isn't a bad option. Definitely not making friends with Spain. These two guys definitely attacking China and Spain. Attacking Russia, maybe, probably is what I want to do. But I also might, because the toss-up is, if I attack France, I'm going to try to be friendly with Great Britain. if I attack Great Britain, I'm going to try to be friendly with France. I'm not going to try to do both at the same time. It's just setting yourself up for failure. Y'all want to design a ship with me? You know what? We'll do that. We'll design a ship pretty quick. Alright, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and design one of these. When it loads. Alright, we're loaded. So, right down here, you can see the, oh, what's it called? The hull. And what happens to these hulls is that these hulls do get upgraded over time. I did not realize that the battleship required so much. Oh my goodness. It's kind of terrifying. But alright. We're going to design a battleship. And we're going to build one. Good googly moogly. Shikishima. 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 Nah, that works. That's fine. 20? We'll see if it can go 19. We'll see if that's okay. Yeah, the weight is crazy with this thing. Not that much. Okay. It's going to be a very light battleship. But it is a pre-Dreadnought battleship, to be fair. Luxurious. Give me one moment. Hopefully that is not too loud for you guys. Because I did turn down that noise all the way down. Yes. A redundance. I speak in redundance. Wow, that is actually really loud for no reason. Wow. There we go. Okay. 4 belt. I like making them kind of thinner. Aft belt. Just saves on weight allows it to be faster. Forward deck. That's fine. Aft deck. Yeah, forward deck. There we go. I didn't want to leave it at 40. Yeah, 10 millimeters. More than fine. So that's 6,000 weight. And wow, that's a lot. Okay. We'll go ahead and we'll put the main towers on here. This is the simple part, the towers. The complicated part is figuring out which one you want. I want number 3. The front tower is not super important. The only reason why I say that is because everything that's bigger than a torpedo boat, I think maybe even a destroyer doesn't need it, but everything bigger than a torpedo boat pretty much needs a rear tower as well. Which means that you do kind of want to save some weight and money and space for a secondary tower. Is there only one? Okay, there's 2 mounts. Could you shift over? Thank you. Intake. No. Why would you do this to me? So 15.2%, 14%, and I think I might be able to sneak in 28%, yes. Goodness. So you can only put 1 here. And it's 23%, yeah, no. Just a standard funnel. That'll work. And there'll be 2 of them. It'll be 28% engine efficiency. I'm not 100% sure what that does. Engine efficiency. Barbettes. Nope, not allowed to have any barbettes yet. Centerline guns. I'm not too sure what these are. What's the side gun? Oh. Oh. A side gun can be put on the side. You couldn't do that with the other ships. Interesting. Do I want 300 millimeter? I don't think so. I think 254 will work just fine. I do want a double barrel. typically what I do, just to save on weight. I can't have it there. This is also what I mean. There are only 8. Actually, that's not even true. Each one of these is actually only 5 because you should put them on reduced. At least for your battleships. Because your battleship is, well, a battleship. Excuse me, move. Thank you. Yeah, your battleship is a battleship. It's not a torpedo boat. It's not even a destroyer. Don't put normal, and definitely don't put more torpedoes on a battleship like this. And I do want to make a torpedo battleship. And I'll show you what that means probably in a later episode, but let's try to crank out this one pretty quickly so I can wrap up pretty soon. The main guns, do we want to do? No, that's fine. Secondary guns. Is there a good mounting for a secondary gun? No? Why would I want a secondary gun then? I could almost actually put 2 half-sized guns. Might do that. Main guns, side guns. Oh, never mind, maybe. We'll see. Oh, there you go. Try to keep them with good range. Oh, I don't think so. No. I mean, I can do this. The only problem is that 500 and, what was it? 550? 540 versus 340 something plus 340 something. That's 100 more tons. Uses 100 more tons than if I just threw on one of these. Actually, I could do whatever I want with a side gun here. Throw on one of these. Gotta scroll it back. It doesn't want to be centered. It's my only problem. It's more of an aesthetic thing than it is a functional thing. Pretty sure I clicked. And that goes up far enough. It's fine. I thought I could squeeze in a bit more, but I didn't need to. My favorite type of gun, the 12mm. Don't put it on the side there because it can't actually reach the front. The whole purpose of that gun is to be in the front. Don't really need a ton more. I'm gonna say put them in the rear like that. That's all. We still have plenty to work with, so we'll probably be upping these to 80mm. Something's wrong. Something's very wrong. These don't have backward mounts. It's not a backward mount. Is that right there not a mount? Am I going insane? Am I missing something? Huh. Alright. In that case, no. Get the more cost-effective, weight-effective. Oh. Huh. I guess we'll have more. These we'll put in like so. Well, actually no. We'll use 45s here. And these will be the 80s. And I'll show you what I mean. Extra beefy barbets. Let's see. We don't need to do anything with that. We do want to see what's the range on it. Wow. There you go. Better. Saves a bit of weight. Just a bit of weight saving measures. There you go. I think that's good, actually, because if you edit that at all, which is why I usually use 40s, because 40s are easier to, more malleable with the barrel length, but it's fine. This should only need 2 right there. Yeah, that's a bug. I've reported that. It's fine. It's not game breaking, it's just annoying. That's all. Alright. We can afford to do -1 like that. So you get the cost-effective, weight-effective gun right there. It's so beautiful. I love it. Characteristics is what we want, right? 5,500, that sounds good enough. As long as it reaches 5,000 in my book. Alright, no. You big bad boy here. 112 Mikes. I think I'm allowed to do another one of these up front here. Do I need to, though? No, not really. I don't like having guns up here. Because these guns do the same thing, but they're more effective. Just straight up, they're more effective right there. The only problem with them being up here is that they're in more danger than over here. But it's okay. And it's glitching again. Let me see, what's the range on these bad boys? think we can do 2. Is 2 what we usually do? Could you not do that? I think it's 1. I think it's just a 1. Yeah. Alright. So casemate armor. As you can see, the game automatically puts on a ton of armor for your guns. In my experience, it's not really needed. Especially for these tiny guns. If these tiny guns get knocked out, it's not a big deal. For me, in the way I design scheme, it depends on how you design ships. It really does. There are things that apply to all ships. Over-armoring a ship is not good, but sometimes if you have a different playstyle, a different type of naval doctrine, different resources available to you, the definition of what is an over-armoring your ship will change. So for me as Japan, I don't have the resources to afford an over-armored ship, and it's going to come at the cost of weight, which means I might have to make the ship slower, or might sacrifice the range of, I might have to sacrifice the actual capabilities just to have a bit more armor on a gun. And that's not something I can really afford, if that makes sense. Now you can afford it if you have less guns, which is a very valid thing to do. Very valid. But these are cost-effective guns. Cost and weight-effective guns. I could slap a bunch of 120 or 112s on this. It might make it overweight though. And I would have to sacrifice other things for that. Which is what comes in and what makes a, ship that could take you 5-10 minutes to design into something that now is taking you 20-30 minutes to design. Because you're trying to figure out what the purpose of the ship is supposed to be. What do you actually want from it? What's its capabilities? And nothing changed there. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. There we go. 212? No. More like 225. I need these turrets to not, What's this? Oh, this is the barbette? You don't have to be that heavy. Jeez Louise. That's where all the weight went. There you go. Alright, let's see. Bulkheads maximum. Bulkheads are, from what I understand, these things right here. There's little compartments that your ship is made out of. And the more compartments you have, the more resistance your ship has to being sunk. So if a torpedo hits here, the best way to describe it is it's like pizza slices / rooms. Like if it was a giant hotel, like you cut this ship up and you made it into like a hotel with a bunch of rooms inside of it. That's basically what bulkheads are. And if you put a bunch of tiny rooms inside here, if a torpedo blows up one room, you have 50 rooms that are not going to get flooded with water. But if you only have 3 big rooms, and one of them gets filled up with water, well, now you only have 2 big rooms that are not filled up with water. And if you get too many rooms filled up with water, you will sink. So you want to make sure you have a fair amount of rooms, or bulkheads, in your ship. I might be completely wrong about that, but I am 99% sure that that's what that is. No, I just don't like that name. I like Shima. I like Shiki. But something about it being put together just not good. Shikimaru. That rolls off the tongue better. Why? I don't know. It just does to me. We have 300 tons to play around with. That's fine. Depends on how much weight we have. Did that pitch? I don't like that. For minus 10% gun, no, I'm good. I'm good. It's fine. They can suffer. Their crew can suffer. They got amazing quarters. You know, we actually put a Burger King on the ship. So, you know. Well, no, actually, what would they put on here? We have a sushi bar. We have an onboard sushi bar, so you guys are fine. Okay, you don't need a super special gun. Remember, you get a sushi bar every time you go to bed. That'd be pretty amazing, actually. I think 12.5 would be nice. It's not gonna do a whole lot, but just doing a little bit more is nice. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that needs it, really. Turrets, fine. 12, 45s. Yeah, it's good. We're good. Shikimaru. We're only going to be able to build like one of these. Maybe two. I'm only comfortable with building one right now. Now that I know that battleships are actually 10,000 tons, I'm not that confident anymore. So this is what I'm going to do, because I was going to record a second episode, and I technically will still be doing that, but not in the same way. I'm going to test out what the heck a battleship does against this and see if I'm still have a viable strategy here, because I don't think I do anymore. I think it will still be more effective, but I don't think it will be nearly as effective as I originally thought it would be. Because even if my 210-ton little torpedo boats are, you know, 3 times more effective, you know, there's only like, you'll see in the next episode. If you're wondering what I'm blabbing about, check out the next episode. It should be on the channel pretty soon. Try to have a nice day. I hope to see you all tomorrow. And good boy. Good boy.